What do you think about the idea of having to work until you're 71 years old to be able to afford to retire? For many young people in Spain today, that may be the reality according to a recent study by BBVA. So in this video, I'm going to explain and summarize the findings from the BBVA report, explain what the reasons are behind these findings, and if you're a young person, whether you're in Spain or living in another country, I'm going to tell you what you can do so that you don't feel like you have to work up until a very old age to be able to retire. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name's Jonny. I'm originally from the UK, but I've been living and working in Spain for the past 5.5 years. On this channel, I talk a lot about life here in Spain, the personal financial aspect, the investing, savings aspect of it as well as sharing some of my trips around the world. So before we start with some of the data from the report, maybe just to give a quick background on how the pension system works here in Spain. Essentially, the people working right now, whether they're employed or whether they're self-employed, are making social security contributions every month, and those social security contributions are actually maintaining the current cohort of retirees in Spain. And as things stand, after a minimum of 15 years of social security contributions, you're eligible to receive a Spanish state pension, and after 36.5 years of contributions to the social security system, you're entitled to 90% of your final gross income, which essentially works out at 100% of your net pay because of the way pension income is taxed here in Spain. And with that introduction, we get into the main concern that is raised by this report, which we're going to go into in detail now, which is that a lot of young people, when they reach the state pension age, currently 65 is going up to 67, not taking into account any future modifications to that, is that they won't have contributed to Social Security for enough years to be able to receive that maximum replacement rate of their last salary. So the report starts by saying that in the year 2024, in the age group 16 to 29 in Spain, there was a labor occupancy rate, that's to say people working, of around 43.9%. 43.9% of that age group are actively in employment and contributing towards Social Security. Now, I was curious to see how this looked in the context of other countries, so I went and looked at two other reports. One report issued by Eurostat, which is under the European Commission, essentially found that in the 15 to 29 age group, 12% of that cohort of the population were not in active study, employment, or training. So the remaining 88% are either working or either studying or in some kind of professional training or apprenticeships equivalent. And whilst that might not sound so bad at first, and whilst there are other countries like Romania, for example, that have a very high percentage of that age group not in study, work, or training, Spain is nevertheless above the EU average of 11%. When looking at that data. Furthermore, a PwC report issued in 2024 of OECD countries found that Spain ranked 31 out of 38 countries in terms of youth unemployment. That's to say that it does have one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the OECD. For those of you who are interested, the top ranked countries are the Netherlands, Iceland, Germany, and Switzerland for low youth unemployment. The United States ranks 10th in the OECD, and the UK ranks number 22. And therefore, the conclusion from that data is that of this 16 to 29 age group in Spain, the Spanish youth, essentially, we could say, there is a much lower percentage of active workers and people actively contributing towards Social Security. And so why is this important? Well, there's a number of reasons. The first being that, as I mentioned earlier, the retirement age is currently 65 officially in Spain, but it is going up to 67 under current legislation. As I said earlier as well, whilst there's nothing confirmed, we can of course speculate that that may increase higher over time as well. Another reason is that the replacement rates and time needed to get the higher replacement rates is changing as well. Under the current system, the 2020 system, 36.5 years of Social Security contributions will get you that 100% effective replacement rate of your final salary. Whereas in the 2027 plan, which is expected to be implemented in future years, it will be 37 full years. Similarly, if you've made 30 years of Social Security contributions under the 2020 plan, you would be entitled to 77% of your final gross salary, whereas under the 2027 plan, you'd only be entitled to 75%, so 2% difference. And so linking that first conclusion with what I've just said now, what it means is that there's a real possibility and high likelihood, you could even say, that many people within that 16 to 29 cohort, by the time they reach whatever the state retirement age is, they may not have accumulated enough years of social security contribution to get that 100% replacement rate essentially when they get there. If we take, for example, someone that starts working at 25 and they have relatively consistent employment with minimal interruptions throughout their working life, probably it's not going to be a problem for them. But if we take someone who maybe officially starts working, for example, in their late 20s or even at the age of 30, that person would essentially have to have no gaps at all in their employment history on their vida laboral, which is what the Social Security issues to show how many years you've contributed to the system. That means no absences, no gaps between jobs, no unemployment, nothing like that, to be able to, when they reach the current age of 67, have that 100% replacement rate of their salary. And of course, that is not necessarily going to be the reality. You know, people change jobs. There are sometimes layoffs. There's sometimes periods of unemployment, things like that. That will all affect, of course, how long you've contributed to the system. And whilst I talk to you about someone who starts working at 29 or 30 years old, whilst it may sound a little bit far-fetched, you know, in Spain, it's not completely unrealistic, because in Spain, there are multiple challenges facing young people these days when it comes to employment, such as the level of studies required for a particular job, how long it takes to complete those studies, internships that are required as part of those studies, temporary contracts, seasonal work, challenges in finding a first job after finishing your studies are all real possibilities in Spain that essentially delay the entry of young people into the workforce. And so as a result, people in that 16 to 29 group are essentially losing years that they could be contributing to Social Security potentially, assuming they're not doing any part-time or seasonal work during that time. People in that age group are essentially losing time that they could be contributing towards the Social Security to get that full replacement rate pension when they reach retirement age. And so if you're watching this video, you're a young person, you think that this is something that may affect you, or you see similar challenges in your country, what are some of the things that you can do to prevent this being a situation that impacts you when you reach the state retirement age? Well, the first thing you can do is prioritize saving and investing. Don't spend all of the money that comes into your account on a monthly basis. Make sure that you have a portion, even if it's just 50 or 100 euros a month at the start, to get the ball rolling. This is all capital that will grow over time once invested. And by the time you reach the retirement age, you can have a sizable pot of money from your own contributions, meaning that you don't necessarily have to rely fully on a state pension. You've essentially created your own retirement fund by saving and contributing to investing over the course of your working life. And your future self will definitely thank you for that as well, because you won't necessarily feel the pressure to have to go all the way up to the retirement age if you don't want to, because it means that even if you get to the retirement age and you're not getting the full replacement rate of your salary, you've got other funds, your own money, your own funds as well, that can supplement a state pension and can help you, cover your costs of living. An even better scenario could be that you're able to retire earlier than the state pension age because, again, your investments have grown, you've made regular contributions, and that money has grown over time. So you don't necessarily have to have that full state pension if you don't want. You could take a lower percentage, maybe 70, 60%, and then the remainder, or even more, is covered again by your own funds that you've saved and invested over the years. The second thing you can do is create multiple streams of income. Now, there's multiple ways that you can do this. One of them can be through investing, through receiving dividends, or perhaps through property investing if you have significant capital to be able to do that, and receive rental income every month. Multiple income streams can also look like having a side hustle or a second job in some cases as well. In any case, you've got extra money coming in. You're not necessarily reliant on your job or a state pension when you get to the future to provide your future income. If you work in a second job, it could be as well that you're contributing to Social Security through that as well. And in the worst case scenario that your main source of income disappears, you've got additional streams of income to fall back on both today and in the future. And then the best case scenario today, that's extra income that's coming in that you can again save or invest and put to the side to provide for your needs in the future, essentially accelerating your wealth building journey. And the third thing that you can do, whilst perhaps not the most popular, but is definitely something that will help you out, is adjusting your lifestyle and making sure that you live consistently below your means. Just because you make a certain amount of money every month doesn't mean that you should live like you make that amount of money every month. If you're able to live on less than you make, again, you're able to save and invest a part of your income. It means that there's less pressure to keep up that same amount of income either today or in the future. And just from an overall well-being and financial health perspective as well, it's a good practice to implement in your life. So if you take those first 3 steps and you put them into practice in your life, that's already putting you in really good stead to not have to worry about relying upon a state-funded pension when you reach the retirement age. It also gives you a certain degree of financial freedom and independence, giving you the power to make that decision of when you'd like to step away from the working world and spend time with your family or spend time on your interests and hobbies and all that kind of thing without having to worry about how to cover your financial needs. Now, these 3 steps will definitely help you work towards your financial future in terms of creating financial peace and giving you some financial stability over the long term. If you're on that journey to financial freedom and independence, maybe even looking for a fresh start in life, then be sure to check out my Global Financial Freedom course, which I recently launched, which cover things like creating new income streams, understanding different investment options available to you both at home and abroad, how to optimize your taxes, and how to relocate to a new country successfully to create the life that you really want to build, allowing you to build a life of financial independence and global travel freedom. It's filled with useful information and practical resources to help you build the life you dream of. You can purchase the course on a subscription basis or on a one-time payment, which gives you lifetime access to all current and future content that will be included in the course. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it useful and informative. Leave a comment and let me know if you're taking any steps to work towards your own financial freedom and your own retirement as well. And if you like this video and you want to see more Spain-related content, then be sure to check out these 2 videos here. Till next time, I'll see you on the next one, and let's get this money.